Chapter 11 Qingshan pills that even dogs don't eat. Xia Tianyu went crazy. Old Xia, do you know what the young man's name is? In order to confirm his guess, Bai Tianheng immediately asked. I don't know. Not only did the young man not leave his name, he didn't even collect the auction house's deposit. He handed it to an appraiser at the auction house and left directly, saying only that he would come back to collect the auction money later. Based on the information I have obtained, it seems that this young man doesn't care about these two pills at all. He is probably a young master from a hidden sect or holy land. Xia Tianyu tapped his fingers on the wooden table and directly expressed his guess. Old Xia, come with me. I'll take you to see someone. Although he didn't get the man's name, Bai Tianheng still felt that the man was Yifeng. In order to confirm his guess, he planned to take Xia Tianyu directly to find Yifeng. Who is it? Xia Tianyu asked with curiosity. My young lady founded a sect. The person I am taking you to see is the young lady's direct disciple. Having said that, Bai Tianheng did not explain any more. He left the restaurant with Xia Tianyu, released his spiritual sense and began to look for Yifeng. 10 minutes later, Bai Tianheng and Xia Tianyu finally found Yifeng and came to the door of his guest room. Bang! Finding that the door was locked from the inside, Bai Tianheng kicked it directly because he found that Yifeng was sleeping again. How could a qualified cultivator waste precious time sleeping? However, when they kicked the door open and walked in, they were stunned. Yifeng, who was sleeping soundly on the bed, sat up dazedly. Xiao Huang, who was sleeping on the ground, slowly opened his eyes. What made the two stunned was the dozens of 9-patterned third-grade Qingshan pills scattered on the ground in front of the little yellow dog. Hey, Bai Lao, why are you here? Have you finished your business? Seeing that the person coming was Bai Lao, Yifeng also asked in confusion. Stupid dog, you only know how to sleep, why haven't you finished eating these pills? Then, Yifeng saw that the Qingshan pills on the ground had not been eaten by the little yellow dog, and he was so angry that he cursed. However, this time, something unexpected happened to Yifeng. Hearing his angry curse, the little yellow dog actually showed a touch of human disgust, and even pushed the Qingshan pills aside with his claws. It was as if he was extremely disgusted with these pills. What the hell did I see? Those are all 9-patterned, third-grade Qingshan pills. I want to run over and take them all for myself, but I was rejected by a dog? I am a 9th-grade alchemist and the boss behind the Tianyu auction house, but I am not as good as a dog? Xia Tianyu, who was standing at the door, saw this scene and felt that his proud heart of a strong man was hit by billions of points. Old Xia, this is not an ordinary wild dog. Don't you realize that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth around the little yellow dog is pouring into its body? Although it is very rare, at this rate, within a year, this little yellow dog may enter the ranks of demon beasts. Bai Tianheng, who was standing aside, said an unbelievable fact with a shocked face. After hearing Bai Tianheng's words, Xia Tianyu's attention shifted from those Qingshan pills to the little yellow dog. No impurities in the body. No demon beast blood in the body. It is transforming from an ordinary beast to a demon beast. After walking forward to check it out, Xia Tianyu said something that shocked everyone. No impurities in the body. No impurities in the body. Xia Tianyu, who kept repeating this sentence, suddenly looked at the dozens of Qingshan pills scattered on the ground beside him. He suddenly looked up at Yifeng, who was sitting on the bed with a confused face, and asked, You, how many of these 9-patterned third-grade Qingshan pills did you eat, little yellow dog? How many? Not many, it seems to be more than 2,000. Yifeng recalled and casually said an approximate number. What? More than 2,000? However, after hearing Yifeng's words, Bai Tianheng and Xia Tianyu exclaimed at the same time, looking at Yifeng with sharp eyes. If they could, their eyes would have killed Jifeng countless times. By Tianheng. Is this the eldest disciple of your Xinghuan sect? Such a precious 9-patterned 3rd-grade Qingxian pill was actually used to feed the dog, and you don't care about it. Finally unable to suppress the anger in his heart, Xia Tianyu yelled at Bai Tianheng beside him. Care? How can I care? This kid is rich and powerful. Sometimes I have to work for him. How can I care? Bai Tianheng looked at Xia Tianyu and directly retorted with full confidence. The furious Xia Tianyu was stunned when he heard this. Who is Bai Tianheng? One of the 8 elders of Xingji sect, a 3rd-level strong man in the tribulation realm, and he may even break through to the 4th level of the tribulation realm at any time. Such a strong man would actually work for a disciple of his own sect? Old Bai, I wonder if you can help me. The old rules, 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. Just when Xia Tianyu was stunned, Yifeng's voice suddenly rang out. There was no way. The dog started to be picky about food. Yifeng found that it was already afternoon, and he had to hurry up to spend the remaining 7,000 Qingxian pills, so he could only find a spendthrift to spend money to find help. Yifeng, you don't want me to help you eat these Qingxian pills, do you? How many do you have left? After hearing what Yifeng said, Bai Tianheng guessed something, but still asked. Old Bai, there are more than 7,000 pills left. We must eat them all before tonight. Are you having bad teeth? Yifeng looked at Bai Tianheng with a suspicious look and asked. Humph. I'm not old yet, and my teeth are fine. Hearing this, Yifeng felt relieved and walked to the table in the guest room. He first took out a space ring containing 100,000 high-quality spirit stones, and then began to take out Qingxian pills one by one and put them on the table. Looking at his old friend who stuffed such precious 9-patterned Qingxian pills into his mouth as snacks and ate them heartily, and then looked at Yifeng who kept having Qingxian pills in his hand, Xia Tianyu beside him was like being struck by lightning, and was dazed for a long time. Peng. Dog, what are you looking at? Hurry up and eat the remaining Qingxian pills on the ground, or I'll stew you. Yifeng saw the little yellow dog lying on the ground looking at Bai Tianheng, who was eating with a mocking look, and kicked him angrily. Woof woof woof. The little yellow dog seemed to understand what Yifeng meant by stewing. After getting up from the ground, he walked back with a reluctant look and began to eat dozens of Qingxian pills on the ground silently. Crazy. They are all crazy. That's the 9-pattern Qingxian pill. Xia Tianyu was going crazy watching all this. He had seen people who spent money, but he had never seen such a spendthrift, not to mention this kind of 9-patterned elixir that he had never seen before. For an alchemist, it was simply a priceless treasure, but it was wasted like this. He felt uncomfortable. Chapter 12 Big Injustice, Luo Qianxue? I didn't expect the 9-patterned Qingxian pill to be so delicious. Although the medicinal effect has no effect on me, it is also a kind of enjoyment to eat it. At this time, Bai Tianheng was eating more and more happily. In the past, he had taken the 5-patterned 9-grade Qingxian pill, but just one pill emptied out 1/10 of his family assets. Although the medicinal effect was helpful to him, the taste was really not as good as this 9-patterned Qingxian pill, even if it was only the 3rd grade. However, while eating, Bai Tianheng actually cried, which made Yifeng and Xia Tianyu dumbfounded. Can eating a pill make him cry? If I could have eaten these Qingxian pills when I was young, I would have passed the 9-fold thunder tribulation and ascended to the upper realm. I would not be like this now, with no hope at all. Hearing this, Xia Tianyu on the side also fell silent. Both of them passed through the 3-fold thunder tribulation and reached the current peak of the 3rd level of the crossing tribulation realm. However, over the years, although they could have already impacted the 4th level of the crossing tribulation realm, they have not made a breakthrough because they dare not guarantee whether they can withstand the 4th-fold thunder tribulation. Once they fail, they will die. Senior, I wonder if you can help me together. Of course, I will not let you help for nothing. I will also give you 100,000 high-grade spirit stones as a reward. How about it? Yifeng felt that Bai Lao was eating too slowly, so he stared at Xia Tianyu, who was standing beside him. At the same time, he took out a space ring with a top-grade spirit stone and placed it on the table full of Qingshan pills. Eating such a precious Qingshan pill, can you really get such a generous reward? Xia Tianyu couldn't believe his ears. The most important thing is that he is not a member of Xinghuan sect. Can such a good thing be cheap for outsiders? A moment later. Watching by Tianhen and Xia Tianyu sitting at the table and eating Qingshan pills, Yifeng's face still had a trace of melancholy, because the speed was still too slow. At this time, he even missed his master and junior brother Wufeng. If 2 more people joined, the speed would definitely reach a new height again. Yifeng, the 2 Qingshan pills auctioned at Tianyu auction house are also yours. After eating for more than 10 minutes, even Bai Lao felt a little sore in his cheeks, and slowed down a bit and asked Yifeng. Yes. Those 2 Qingshan pills are mine too. This broken pill can be sold for hundreds of thousands of low-grade spirit stones. I just want to see who will buy it. Yifeng answered casually after hearing this. Cried. Xia Tianyu, who was eating Qingshan pill, cried when he heard this. You call it a broken pill? Not to mention hundreds of thousands of low-grade spirit stones, even if it was 1 million low-grade spirit stones, he would take as many as he could. It's ridiculous that he had thought that he could contact the owner of the pill and buy it directly at a high price. Who would have thought that the other party put it up for auction just to see who would buy it? Outside the restaurant. On the 2nd floor, the 3rd guest room on the east side, your senior brother and Bai Lao are both there. After Luo Qianxue found the 2 through her spiritual sense, she walked into the restaurant with the extremely excited Leng Wufeng. Senior brother, you can never imagine what good things our master has spent a huge amount of money to get for our brothers. Leng Wufeng kicked open the door with a sandalwood box containing pills in each hand and shouted excitedly. Luo Qianxue followed in at this time. Although her face was cold, a hint of playfulness flashed in her eyes. She really wanted to see what Yifeng's expression would be when she learned that she spent more than 1 million low-grade spirit stones to auction a 9-pattern Qingshan pill for him. So what if you have money? This kind of pill is not something you can buy with money. If you don't happen to encounter it, no matter how rich you are, you can't get it. However, when Leng Wufeng and Luo Qianxue saw the table full of 9-pattern Qingshan pills in the room and by Tianhen and Xia Tianyu eating the Qingshan pills one after another as snacks, they simply couldn't believe their eyes. Leng Wufeng didn't even know when the 2 pill boxes containing Qingshan pills fell to the ground. Big grudge, after hearing Leng Wufeng's words, Bai Tianheng and Xia Tianyu also looked at Luo Qianxue with an expression of disbelief. They never thought that the big enemy that Yifeng was waiting for to appear was actually Luo Qianxue. A few minutes later. When Luo Qianxue knew the whole story, she was so angry that her head was filled with blood and she almost fainted. Her own apprentice casually put the broken pill in the auction house, but she, as the master, was competing fiercely with many bidders. It was ridiculous that she was still self-righteous and thought that she could turn the tables by auctioning such a pill. Who would have thought that she would become the big enemy in Yifeng's mouth? Big brother, then, can I eat these Qingshan pills? Leng Wufeng, who also knew everything, was staring at the Qingshan pills on the table at this time. He knew that if he could take more, he would definitely take off directly. Of course you can eat as much as you want, and you will be full. Yifeng laughed when he heard this. He was worried about how to spend all these pills as soon as possible. Big brother is awesome. Excited Leng Wufeng rushed directly to the table. As a result, he was too excited and made the table shake slightly. More than 10 Qingshan pills fell directly to the ground. Not good. Lung Wufeng was shocked when he found a little yellow dog nearby. This pill had a fatal attraction to these ordinary beasts. There were more than 10 Qingshan pills. If the dog ate them, he would go crazy. However, what confused Lung Wufeng was that 2 Qingshan pills rolled down in front of the little yellow dog lying on the ground. The little yellow dog stretched out its front paws with great disgust and pushed the 2 pills away. Master Luo, I am paid to do things for others, and there are some things that should not be said, but as his master, you really need to take good care of him. Such a precious 9-pattern Qingshan pill, he actually gave more than 2,000 pills to this wild dog. It is simply a waste of heaven, a waste of heaven. Lung Wufeng, who had just picked up the 2 Qingshan pills pushed away by the little yellow dog, trembled violently when he heard this. Looking at the little yellow dog in front of him, he felt his heart was broken. It's ridiculous that he thought he could eat a 9-pattern Qingshan pill and was complacent before, but in the end he was worse than a dog. When Luo Qianxue heard that Yi Feng actually gave more than 2,000 pills of such a pill to the wild dog in front of him, her face twitched uncontrollably. She had heard from Lung Wufeng that up to now, no matter how high the grade of Qingshan pill was, the highest one had only had 8 patterns, and this 9-pattern Qingshan pill had never appeared, which was enough to prove how precious this pill was. 1 hour later. Yi Feng looked at Bai Tianheng, Xia Tianyu, and Lung Wufeng, all of whom were slumped in their chairs after eating too much, but there were still more than 2,000 Qingshan pills left, and his eyes went straight to Luo Qianxue, who had not moved at all. Don't even think about asking me to eat. But I can buy the remaining Qingshan pills for a big price. Luo Qianxue also has her own purpose. After all, there are more than 2,000 pills left. If she takes them to her father's sect in this life, she can definitely create many geniuses. Chapter 13, The Legendary 9-Leaf Soul Returning Grass. You can't use it to soak your feet. Master, it's not that I don't want to sell it, it's that I can't sell it. Hearing Luo Qianxue's proposal, Yi Feng chose to refuse without hesitation. A wasteful product. It is definitely a wasteful item. It doesn't matter if a few pills are auctioned, but if more than 2,000 pills are used normally, Yi Feng feels that there will definitely be problems, which will eventually affect the wasteful points he has obtained. I'll pay 10 times the price. Just after she finished speaking, Luo Qianxue suddenly found that several people in the room looked at her with a strange look, and then suddenly thought of something, and her face instantly became extremely embarrassed. This inexplicably extra disciple of hers is not a person who is short of money at all. Master, this pill tastes really good, do you really want to try it? Yi Feng looked at Luo Qianxue and asked again. If Luo Qianxue still remained unmoved, he would probably have to go outside and pick up another stray dog. 2 hours later. With Luo Qianxue joining in, Bai Tianheng, Xia Tianyu, and Lung Wufeng took a break and ate some more, and then they ate all the remaining Qingshan pills. Ding! Congratulations to the host for hiring Bai Tianheng as a spendthrift, and reward him with 100 spendthrift points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for hiring Xia Tianyu to be a spendthrift. 200 spendthrift points are awarded. Ding! Congratulations to the host for spending all the spendthrift products today. 1,000 spendthrift points are awarded. 9th grade 9-leaf soul returning grass *3, 9th grade golden silkworm star shining stone *5 are awarded. Ding! The reward items are consumed in a spendthrift way. You will not get a lot of spendthrift points. The host can use them at will. Yi Feng did not expect that this time, he not only got spendthrift points for spending all the spendthrift products of the day, but also got other rewards. Hey! Old Bai, do you think what I, the sect master, do is interesting? Luo Qianxue sighed at this time and looked at Bai Tianheng and asked. This? Bai Tianhong didn't know how to answer for a while when he heard this. No need for guidance in cultivation. No need to provide cultivation resources. You can also make some extra money from your own disciples. Not to mention Luo Qianshua's feelings at this time, he felt that Yi Feng was not a disciple of the sect at all, but more like the sect's god of wealth, but this god of wealth was a bit too profligate. Old Xia, I heard that you are a 9th grade alchemist. Have you heard of the 9th grade 9-leaf soul-returning grass? If you don't understand, ask. Yi Feng looked at Xia Tianyu and asked directly. 9-leaf soul-returning grass? That is the legendary spiritual herb, commonly known as the soul-returning grass. Each leaf represents the medicinal effect of the soul-returning grass. Let alone the 9-leaf soul-returning grass, I have never seen even one leaf of the soul-returning grass. The soul-returning grass is the most important spiritual herb for refining the soul-returning life-saving pill, without a doubt. The soul-returning life-saving pill, once taken, within 24 hours, even if the soul is destroyed, the medicinal effect in it can save the soul. It is no exaggeration to say that the soul-returning life-saving pill is definitely the most urgent pill for any strong person in the tribulation realm to obtain. With the pill to protect the soul, even if the tribulation fails and the body is destroyed, at least the soul can be left, and you can find a way to rebuild the body in the future. Xia Tianyu heard Yi Feng mention the spiritual herb and introduced it in detail. After all, Xia Tianyu met Yi Feng for the first time, and he had no idea how prodigal he was. But Bai Tianhong knew it, and although it was less than 2 days, based on his understanding of Yi Feng, he would never ask if the other party did not have it. Old Xia, do you know about bamboo demon grass, white soul flower and purple thunder fruit? Bai Tianhong took a deep breath and looked at Xia Tianyu beside him and suddenly asked. Huh? Although these 3 kinds of spiritual herbs are extremely rare, many big forces still have some of them, even if the number is not large. What's wrong? Xia Tianyu asked in confusion. This kid used these 3 kinds of spiritual herbs to soak his feet yesterday. What? Hearing this, Xia Tianyu stood up from his chair in shock. Although these 3 kinds of spiritual herbs are not extinct, the known number of them in the entire Xintian continent is extremely small. Someone actually soaked their feet with such rare spiritual herbs. Yi Feng, you should have the 9-leaf soul-returning grass in your hand. If you didn't have it, you probably wouldn't ask. Apart from anything else, this kind of spiritual herb is definitely a legendary spiritual herb. You must never soak your feet with it again. Bai Tianhong didn't care about Xia Tianyu, who stood up in shock at this time, but hurriedly persuaded Yi Feng. But I have 3 plants. It shouldn't be a big deal to take out 1 plant for foot soaking. Yi Feng's words were not to tease Bai Tianhong, but he really planned to do so. Although he was a spendthrift, he was a rich man after all. He had to enjoy what he should enjoy. It was so refreshing to soak his feet with the 3rd-grade spiritual herbs, so how could he not try the 9th-grade spiritual herbs? No. Yi Feng, do you really have 3 9-leaf soul-restoring grasses? Then name a price. I want these 3 9-leaf soul-restoring grasses no matter what the price is, even if I have to give up everything. Xia Tianyu finally reacted and promised everything. Not only was the soul-restoring pill made from the 9-leaf soul-restoring grass extremely important to him, but most importantly, he simply couldn't stand such a spiritual herb being used to soak feet. This was no longer a waste of natural resources, it was simply insane. Master, this 9-leaf soul-returning grass is a gift from your disciple. I will definitely take this second 9-leaf soul-returning grass back to soak my feet. No one can use it. As for this 3rd 9-leaf soul-returning grass, Bai Lao, as long as you help me do more physical work in the future, it will most likely be yours. Yi Feng directly took out 3 9-leaf soul-returning grasses, and directly decided the fate of the 3 9-leaf soul-returning grasses. This. Looking at the 9-leaf soul-returning grass that Yi Feng stuffed into his hand, Luo Qianxue was completely stunned. First, he used 100,000 high-grade spirit stones to buy his identity as a direct disciple, and then directly gave himself 400,000 high-grade spirit stones as a gift for his apprenticeship. Now he has given me another priceless 9-leaf soul-returning grass. Who knows what he will get from his direct disciple in the future? If this goes on, Luo Qianxue even feels like she is being kept by the other party. Thinking of this, Luo Qianxue shook her head in shock, and even wanted to return the 9-leaf soul-restoring grass immediately, but thinking that she might need the soul-restoring pill to overcome the tribulation in the future, she hesitated at this moment. Yi Feng, as long as I help you do some hard work, I can get that 9-leaf soul-restoring grass, right? After hearing what Yi Feng said, Xia Tianyu directly set his eyes on the last 9-leaf soul-restoring grass. Old Xia, what do you mean, that 9-leaf soul-restoring grass belongs to me, do you still want to snatch it? Bai Tianheng was anxious at this time, he also needed the soul-restoring pill, and heard that Yi Feng was actually going to give the last one to him, and now seeing Xia Tianyu coming to snatch it, he was so anxious that he cursed directly. Leng Wufeng was extremely quiet at this time, and his mind was full of one thing, that is, the water that Yi Feng used to soak his feet with the 9-leaf soul-returning grass. Could he take advantage of it and soak in it too? Chapter 14. Luo Wuming was stunned. This is definitely the god of wealth. Master Luo, I want to join your sect as an honorary elder. I wonder if you can make it convenient. Seeing that he couldn't argue with Bai Tianheng, Xia Tianyu rolled his eyes and directly set his sights on Luo Qianxue. Old Xia, you said you want to join my small Xinghuan sect? Luo Qianxue looked at Xia Tianyu with a serious face, and couldn't believe her ears. Who is the other party? Not only is he a 9th-grade alchemist, he also has a powerful cultivation of the 3rd level of the tribulation realm. The most important thing is that the other party's Tianyu auction house covers nearly 1/5 of the Shantian continent. Such a big guy wants to join her sect? Qianxue girl, I held you in my arms when you were little. If you don't agree, I'll go find your father. Seeing that Luo Qianxue didn't respond for a long time, Xia Tianyu was really anxious. No matter who Yi Feng was, he even had this legendary spiritual herb, and he took out 3 of them at once, and even gave them away and soaked his feet as soon as he said he would. This was enough to prove that these 3 spiritual herbs were not important to him at all. He couldn't guarantee that he had more legendary spiritual herbs in his hands. If he didn't catch up with the team, he would definitely regret it later. Yes, but what about your auction house business, old Xia? Luo Qianxue was also confused. She didn't expect that old Xia was so determined to join her sect. It's time to hand over the auction house business to my useless son. After saying that, Xia Tianyu showed a smug look and looked at Bai Tianheng, who was full of resentment, and smiled. Old white head, who can get the 9-leaf soul-returning grass depends on their performance. You are cruel. Bai Tianheng heard the other party's provocation and expressed all his emotions in 2 words. It's over. I don't want to develop the sect. It's okay to have 2 more disciples inexplicably, but why is there another 9th-grade alchemist? Luo Qianxue's mentality at this time was completely broken. How can she practice well? She wants to practice, she wants to transcend the tribulation and ascend to the upper realm to take revenge. By the way, do any of you know the golden silkworm star shinestone? Yi Feng once again dropped a bombshell at this time, which instantly made several people's heads buzz. You have the golden silkworm star shinestone. This time, Luo Qianxue, Bai Tianheng and Xia Tianyu all looked at Yi Feng with fiery eyes and shouted. No, no. I'm just asking casually. Looking at the 3 people's murderous eyes, Yi Feng quickly denied it, but he knew that this golden silkworm star shine stone was definitely much more powerful than the 9-leaf soul-restoring grass, hee. However, after hearing Yi Feng's answer, the 3 of them looked at Yi Feng with strange eyes and sneered. They didn't believe what Yifeng said. They dared to guarantee that Yifeng definitely had the golden silkworm starshine stone in his hand. Where did my eldest brother come from? How come he has all these good things? Leng Wufeng, who was silent on the side, looked at Yifeng with shock at this time. At this moment, Luo Qianxue noticed that the sound transmission jade pendant had reacted. After checking it, she said directly, "Return to the sect immediately." "Miss, what happened?" Bailao asked, coldly. "It's okay, my father is here, saying that he has something important to discuss, but I feel that he is here to inspect my sect," Luo Qianxue said with a wry smile. 5 hours later. The 5 people and the dog finally returned to the Xinghuan sect, and under the care of the moonlight, a middle-aged man with a domineering look stood in front of the sect, as if waiting for everyone. "Qianxue, you really disappoint your father. Yesterday was the day when your Xinghuan sect recruited disciples. Where are the disciples of the sect?" Looking at the people slowly falling from the sky, Luo Wuming was so angry. He thought he would see the lively scene of Xinghuan sect, but who would have thought that after he came, he didn't even see a shadow. How could he not be angry? "Father, these 2 are the disciples recruited by my Xinghuan sect, and Yifeng is my direct disciple." Seeing the furious Luo Wuming, Luo Qianxue also hurriedly explained. At this time, she was glad to have these 2 disciples as a shield. In the last life, she had no father and mother. In this new life, Luo Qianxue cherished her parents who loved her very much. Oh. When Luo Wuming heard this, he showed a touch of surprise. Direct disciple? His precious daughter, who didn't care about anything since she was a child and only knew how to practice all day, actually accepted a direct disciple. This surprised him a little. What's his spiritual root? What's his talent? What's his cultivation? Luo Wuming looked at Luo Qianxue and asked 3 questions in a row. The person is right next to you, can you use your spiritual sense to check? Although she thought so, Luo Qianxue still answered honestly, no spiritual root, no talent, cultivation is currently. Before Luo Qianxue finished speaking, Luo Wuming interrupted him directly, staring at him with wide eyes and exclaimed, "Isn't this a useless person? How did he become your personal disciple?" "I bought my personal disciple with 500,000 high-grade spirit stones." At this time, Yifeng stepped forward and explained complacently. "What? You bought your disciple?" Luo Wuming couldn't believe his ears. Even if he was a low-ranking sect leader, he wouldn't be so perfunctory if he wanted to accept a disciple. Peng. At this moment, Xia Tianyu stepped down with his spiritual power, and a half-meter-high square stone broke out of the ground. "Yifeng, you must be tired of standing. Come on, sit down and rest for a while." Xia Tianyu personally moved the square stone behind Yifeng and said with a flattering smile. "Xia Tianyu, you are too much." Bai Tianheng, who was standing by, saw this and cursed himself for being too slow, but he also cursed Xia Tianyu without hesitation. The weather is getting cold, and Yifeng can't get cold. Bai Tianheng put his right hand on the stone under Yifeng and directly released his fire attribute spiritual energy, instantly raising the cold stone to a suitable temperature. Stare. Seeing this scene, Luo Wuming's eyes almost popped out of his head in shock. Is this guy still an elder of my Xingji sect? Also, Xia Tianyu, how could this guy appear in my daughter's sect? Inside the sect hall, when Luo Wuming heard a few people talk about Yifeng's situation, he was dumbfounded. Especially when he saw the little yellow dog lying at Yifeng's feet, he felt that he was not as good as a dog. He had never eaten the 9-pattern Qingxian pill, but a dog had eaten more than 2,000 pills. Thinking of the legendary 9-leaf soul-returning grass that the other party gave to his daughter, his eyes changed when he looked at Yifeng again. How could this be a direct disciple? This is the god of wealth. Not to mention in this Xinghuan sect, even if it was placed in his Xingji sect, he would have to worship it like an ancestor. Chapter 15. I'm not worried about Yi Feng in the battlefield of Tiandao. Qianxue, I came here this time mainly to see the situation of your sect. Since everything is fine here, I am relieved. Next, Luo Wuming and Luo Qianxue, father and daughter, chatted about family matters, and Yi Feng, by Tianhen and others also left the sect hall. Big brother, I brought you the water for foot bath. The temperature is absolutely right. Leng Wufeng put the foot basin under the bed and stood aside waiting. Do you want to soak too? Yi Feng looked at Leng Wufeng, who was standing aside and didn't leave, and couldn't help laughing. Big brother, I'll soak after you finish. Leng Wufeng said with a slightly embarrassed smile. Okay, big brother, are you such a stingy person? Go and bring another foot basin, and the 9th grade soul returning grass, we'll each take half. Rooftop, when Bai Tianheng and Xia Tianyu found out that Yi Feng in the house really broke the 9-leaf soul returning grass into 2 halves and put them into 2-foot basins, their hearts were bleeding. They still held a glimmer of hope, thinking that Yi Feng was just pretending before. How could he bear to use such a spiritual herb for foot bathing? As a result, he really used it for foot bathing. The next morning, Yi Feng sat up and stretched, but found that his spirit was surprisingly good. It is worthy of being a 9th grade spiritual herb. Just using it for foot bathing has made some changes to my soul. Yi Feng had to admit that the 9-leaf soul returning grass was indeed extraordinary. You know, the medicinal effect absorbed by foot bathing is probably less than 1,000th. However, what Yi Feng didn't know was that the 9-leaf soul returning grass was far from being comparable to other ordinary 9th grade spiritual herbs, not to mention that the medicinal effect was extremely special. The current prodigal points are 2,510, keep them for now. Today's prodigal product, Huangquan Sword Fragment * 10,000. What is Huangquan Sword Fragment? Yi Feng was a little confused, and with a thought, a thumb-sized, white fragment crystal appeared in his hand. Dog, come here. If you don't understand, then call the dog. The little yellow dog has already developed a little intelligence, thinking that Yi Feng is going to give it something delicious again, and ran over quickly when he heard the shout. Just touch your forehead with this thing? According to the prompt given by the system, Yi Feng took the fragment of Huangquan sword intent in his hand and placed it on the forehead of the little yellow dog. Crack! An invisible force flowed into the body of the little yellow dog from the fragment, and the crystal of the fragment shattered instantly, and then directly vaporized and disappeared in Yi Feng's hand. At the same time, a weak sword intent gradually emanated from the body of the little yellow dog. Yi Feng was stunned, because he felt that the little yellow dog had not changed. The little yellow dog was stunned, and it felt that there seemed to be something more in its dog's soul. System, what if the prodigal product is not consumed in a prodigal way? Although he did not find any changes in the little yellow dog, Yi Feng knew that this thing was definitely a rare good thing just by the name of the name after reading all kinds of fantasy masterpieces in his previous life. Ding! A lot of prodigal points will be deducted. Fuck. Hearing the system's answer, Yi Feng couldn't help but burst out with a swear word. You know, from the activation of the system to now, the system has never said the word a lot. It seems that I can't ask others for help with this thing. If they hide it, it will be a big trouble. Thinking of this, Yi Feng carried the confused little yellow dog by the neck and walked towards his house. Sect Hall. Qianxue, have you ever considered letting those 2 little guys go to the Heavenly Dao battlefield to train? Luo Wuming looked at Luo Qianxue and asked. Heavenly Dao battlefield? I really can't teach them anything. I'm confident in Yi Feng, but I'm afraid that Leng Wufeng might have an accident. After 2 days, Luo Qianxue completely recognized these 2 disciples. Why don't I send a few inner disciples at the peak of the 9th level of the Rongling realm? When the time comes, they will travel together, which should be much safer. But why are you so confident about Yifeng? Luo Wuming also asked his own question. Although Yifeng is rich and powerful, and has treasures that people at their level are jealous of, he is a useless person after all. Even if ordinary people go to the Heavenly Dao battlefield, they will be directly arranged to the first level of the Heavenly Dao battlefield. The weakest cultivators or monsters there are all at the first level of the spiritual sea realm, and the strongest are at the peak of the 9th level of the spiritual sea realm. Facing an ordinary person, they can still be wiped out at will. Father, since Yifeng has no spiritual roots, his qualifications cannot be determined, but he is not a useless person. He has now reached the peak of the 9th level of the Qidong realm. If he goes to the Heavenly Dao battlefield, he will be directly teleported to the 2nd level of the Heavenly Dao battlefield. Impossible. Hearing this, Luo Wuming shook his head directly. He did not believe that people without spiritual roots could still practice. Without spiritual roots, it is impossible to sense the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Even if you can comprehend the top-level skills, you can't practice at all. By the way, not only did he practice to the 9th peak of the Qidong realm without spiritual roots, but the spiritual sea he opened up was more than 20 times larger than mine. Seeing that her father didn't believe it, Luo Qianxue didn't care, because she didn't believe what Bai Lao said at the time, but in the end she still recognized the reality. This is even more impossible. The spiritual sea you opened up back then not only broke the history of Xingji sect, but also shocked the ancestors. How could such a useless person open up a spiritual sea that is more than 20 times larger than yours? This is simply a fairy tale. Luo Wuming said to the end, his eyes full of disbelief. Even though he argued like this, looking at his daughter opposite with a calm face, he felt that the other party didn't seem to be joking at all. Boom! At this moment, a surge of sword intent instantly swept the entire sect. Swish! 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 Luo Qianxue, Luo Wuming, Bai Tianheng, Xia Tianyu, Leng Wufeng and the others all rushed towards the direction of the sword intent. Huangquan Road. Seoul Bridge. The closer they got to the location of the sword intent, the deeper they were trapped in the state of mind of the terrifying Huangquan sword intent. Except for Leng Wufeng, the rest of them relied on their powerful spirits to resist the Huangquan sword intent and finally arrived at the place where the sword intent exploded. Go, go! Yifeng threw the wooden plate in his hand far away, and then ordered the little yellow dog to run over and fetch it back. The man and the dog had a lot of fun. However, the 4 people who came were all dumbfounded when they found that it was a dog that exuded the terrifying Huangquan sword intent. A dog actually comprehended the sword intent, and it was the extremely powerful Huangquan sword intent that was extremely difficult to comprehend. If you didn't see it with your own eyes, would you dare to believe it? Hey, why are you here? Yifeng saw the 4 people who appeared here and asked, with a puzzled look on his face. Yifeng, your dog, comprehended the sword intent? Hearing Yifeng's question, it was Luo Qianxue who reacted first and asked. Chapter 16 Human-Level Superior Martial Arts Fire Dragon Fist. How could it be possible for it to comprehend it if it was so stupid? I just happened to have some Huangquan sword intent fragments in my hand, so I gave them to it by the way. Yifeng explained casually. He didn't know whether the people in this world could understand the system product of Huangquan sword intent fragments. What? Fragments of Huangquan sword intent? However, what surprised Yifeng was that after hearing what he said, everyone exclaimed in unison, and the look they gave him became unfriendly again, with a look of complete hatred. Yellow Spring Sword Intent is an extremely powerful sword intent. Even in the Heavenly Dao battlefield, it is not easy to obtain the Yellow Spring Sword Intent. It depends entirely on your luck. But you actually gave such a precious fragment of the Yellow Spring Sword Intent to a dog? Luo Qianxue pointed at Yi Feng and said this, her body shaking uncontrollably. She really didn't expect Yi Feng to be so desperate. Heavenly Dao Battlefield? What is that place? However, when Yi Feng heard about the Heavenly Dao Battlefield, he showed a hint of curiosity. This name definitely sounds interesting. It's okay to talk to you. I was planning to let you go to the Tiandao battlefield to gain some experience. The Xintian continent where we are is just one of the thousands of lower realms. All lower realm planes can go to the Tiandao battlefield. According to different strengths, they will enter different areas of the Tiandao battlefield. No one knows how the Tiandao battlefield appeared, but it has many cultivation resources, opportunities, inheritance, treasures, etc. Of course, in addition to facing the threats of other lower realm creatures, the powerful local monsters in it also need to be paid attention to. If you are not careful, you may fall in the Tiandao battlefield. Ding. Release a random task. Please go to the second Tiandao battlefield and kill 100 Kaidongjing 9th level peak monsters. If the task is successful, a large number of prodigal points will be awarded. If the task fails, a large number of prodigal points will be deducted. You can refuse. Just after Luo Qianxue finished talking about some basic information about the Tiandao battlefield, the voice of the system rang in Yifeng's mind, shocked. Yifeng was really shocked at this time. The random task released before was to join the Xinghuan sect, and it only rewarded 100 points of prodigals. This time, there was no specific value, but a large number. The number was definitely beyond his imagination. However, how to kill 100 monsters of the same realm was a problem, because he now had spiritual power but no martial arts at all. Yi Feng, can I ask how many Huangquan sword fragments did you use on this dog? Luo Wuming couldn't help asking at this time. He could sense that the Huangquan sword intent of this little yellow dog was already very strong. I'm afraid it has reached the extreme of the realm of sword intent and may break through to the realm of sword heart at any time. You know, even the ancestor of Xingji sect, who has been practicing hard for hundreds of years and has obtained countless opportunities in the past, has realized the realm of sword heart, and the Tianhen sword heart he realized is far inferior to the powerful Huangquan sword heart. 10,000 Huangquan sword fragments. Hearing Luo Wuming's question, Yi Feng temporarily gave up thinking about the dilemma of not having martial arts. Anyway, the task had no time limit, so he looked at the other party and answered casually. Boom. However, after hearing Yi Feng's words, the four people around him finally couldn't suppress their anger, and the violent and terrifying aura swept around, wantonly torturing the surrounding flowers, plants, and trees. 10,000 pieces of Huangquan sword fragments. That's 10,000 pieces, and even if they were jealous of this thing, they actually gave it to a dog. Wasteful. Desperate. They knew that Yi Feng was a spendthrift, but they never thought that he had been so desperate. Fortunately, I didn't ask them for help, otherwise something big would definitely happen. Looking at the four people who were completely out of control, Yi Feng was extremely glad that he made the right choice, that is, he didn't ask them for help, but he worked hard to complete the consumption of today's wasteful products by himself. Father, take him away quickly, I have to slow down, otherwise I'm really afraid that I can't control myself and slap this disciple who only knows how to spend money to death. Luo Qianxue took a deep breath, trying to calm down her mentality, and hurriedly asked Luo Wuming to take Yi Feng away as soon as possible. When the training is over, I will send him back to you as soon as possible. I am afraid I can't bear it. After saying that, Luo Wuming summoned the flying sword and took the confused Yi Feng with him into the sky. In a few breaths, he disappeared from the sight of several people. Master, where are we going? Yi Feng looked at Luo Wuming with confusion and asked. Xinghuan sect is just a sect I founded to let Qianxue temper her mind. Your real sect is Xingji sect. Let's go to Xingji sect now. When the time comes, you can go to the Tiandao battlefield with other brothers and sisters, so that you can take care of them. Luo Wuming explained casually. Master, is our Xingji sect strong? Master, what realm are you in? Doesn't our sect even have a monster to travel with? Master, is our sect too poor? Do you want me to support it? Master, are my brothers and sisters in Xingji sect almost starving? Listening to Yifeng's endless words, Luo Wuming finally exploded and shouted, Enough, shut up, our sect is very rich. Night fell. Luo Wuming took Yifeng to a nearby town to rest for a while, preparing to continue the journey early tomorrow morning. Lying on the bed in the guest room, Yifeng muttered to himself, I don't know what tomorrow's waste product will be. It's really not easy to earn these 1,000 waste points. Thinking about it, Yifeng gradually fell asleep. The next morning, after Yifeng woke up, he immediately checked the personal attribute page. Name, Yifeng. Age, 18. Realm, Qidong Realm. 9th level. Peak Constitution, Ordinary Body. Martial Arts, none. Magical Power, none. Items, none. Waste Points, 3510. Today's waste product, top grade spirit stones, *100,000. This time, the waste product is actually top grade spirit stones. Fortunately, there are only 100,000 pieces, so it shouldn't be very troublesome to deal with them. Seeing today's waste product, Yifeng already had an idea of how to spend it all in his mind, absolutely simple and crude. System, buy a martial arts jar. Specify a human-level top-grade martial arts, no matter how many you open, keep opening until you open it. In Shantian continent, whether it is a martial arts or a martial arts, it is divided into heaven level, earth level, and human level, and each is also divided into low grade, medium grade, and high grade. According to the introduction of the martial arts jar, more than 90% of the probability of opening a human-level low-grade martial arts, more than 80% of the probability of opening a human-level medium-grade martial arts, and so on. The same is true for martial arts. For human-level top-grade martial arts, the probability is as high as 70%, which is equivalent to opening a specified third-grade spirit grass. Ding! Consume 100 spendthrift points. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the human-level top-grade martial arts Fire Dragon Fist. As the system prompt sounded, everything about the Fire Dragon Fist emerged from Yifeng's mind. Chapter 17. If I don't spendthrift, who will I spend my money on after I die? Fire Dragon Fist? It requires fire attribute aura to perform. But I don't have a fire spiritual root. Where can I get fire spiritual energy? Yifeng thought with a confused face, and a stream of spiritual energy was added to his right hand, and the hot fire spiritual energy instantly covered his right hand completely. With a thought, the hot fire spiritual energy instantly turned into water spiritual energy, and the coolness instantly filled the entire right hand. Extremely sharp gold spiritual energy. Extremely cold ice spiritual energy. Full of vitality wood spiritual energy. Thick and pure earth spiritual energy. Wind spiritual energy that is as fast as the wind. Yifeng kept transforming the spiritual energy attributes. He couldn't believe that he had no spiritual roots, but he could transform the pure spiritual power in the spiritual sea in his body into spiritual energy of various attributes. Why not try the Fire Dragon Fist first? Unable to figure it out, Yifeng was too lazy to think about it. Instead, he wanted to try the martial arts he had just acquired, the Fire Dragon Fist. Yifeng, get up quickly and go downstairs to have breakfast, and then we have to continue our journey. At this time, Luo Wuming's voice sounded from outside the door. Coming. Yifeng responded, temporarily giving up trying the Fire Dragon Fist, and after getting dressed, he quickly walked out of the room and headed downstairs. Half an hour later. After eating and drinking, Luo Wuming summoned the flying sword and took Yifeng to the Xingji sect again. After a while, Luo Wuming suddenly saw several high-grade spirit stones appear in Yifeng's hands, which made him very confused. He didn't know what the other party was going to do with the high-grade spirit stones. When Luo Wuming saw Yifeng throw all the high-grade spirit stones in his hands away, he was dumbfounded. People are giving benefits in the sky, and windfalls? Seeing Yifeng not restraining himself, but starting to throw them away continuously, Luo Wuming's mouth couldn't help but twitch. Although he was the leader of Wuji sect and an 8th-level strong man in the tribulation realm, he didn't care about these high-grade spirit stones, but he couldn't stand seeing such a wasteful behavior. This is pure waste. Yifeng, although I don't know how many spirit stones and good things you have in your hands, you can't be so wasteful. When one day you have nothing, even if you wake up at that time, it will be too late. Do you understand? Taking a deep breath, Luo Wuming also tried to persuade him with a furious temper. Master, do you know what is the most painful thing in a person's life? Hearing Luo Wuming's persuasion, Yifeng also asked directly. Everyone has his own life, so the most painful thing for everyone in this life is different. For a sword fanatic who specializes in swordsmanship, the most painful thing is probably that he cannot comprehend the true meaning of swords before he dies. For an alchemist who specializes in alchemy, the most painful thing is probably that he has not refined a peerless elixir that will make him famous in history before he dies. For a formation master who specializes in formation, the most painful thing is probably that he has not created the strongest formation in his ideal before he dies. Too many, even the ones I mentioned, are a bit one-sided. Hearing Yifeng's question, Luo Wuming answered very seriously. Master, I don't know about other people's situations, but my most painful thing is definitely that people die, but the money is not spent. After saying that, Yifeng started throwing up high-grade spirit stones again. Countless high-grade spirit stones were thrown out by Yifeng like flowers scattered by fairies. That was so arrogant. This prodigal son. Luo Wuming was so angry that he couldn't speak at all at this time. He simply ignored it. He wanted to see when Yifeng would throw. It was getting close to evening. Luo Wuming brought Yifeng to Xingji sect, and Yifeng finally threw away 100,000 high-grade spirit stones. He felt that his hands and arms were almost useless and ached. Is this Xingji sect? After entering the sect, with its overlapping mountains, clear streams like mirrors, and magnificent halls, Yifeng felt that Xinghuan sect was just a broken mountain, and there was no comparison at all. Because he had no spiritual roots, Yifeng had never noticed that the concentration of spiritual energy here was many times stronger than that in Xinghuan sect. Deacon Song, this boy is my daughter's personal disciple. I brought him back, this time, to go to the Tiandao battlefield with my fellow sect brothers. I'll leave it to you for the next 2 days. Soon, Luo Wuming brought Yifeng to the inner gate and handed him over to an inner gate steward. Before leaving, he reminded him, Yifeng, you should behave yourself these 2 days. We will go to the Tiandao battlefield in 3 days. Deacon Song, I will trouble you these days. When Luo Wuming left, Yifeng also looked at the middle-aged man beside him with a humble face. It's a small matter. If you need anything in the next 2 days, just tell me. Song Changyan also smiled and said hurriedly. After all, Yifeng is Luo Qianxue's direct disciple. With this identity, even he dare not offend. Deacon Song, why is it so lively over there? Yifeng noticed that there were constant exclamations coming from the martial arts training ground not far away, and he asked with great curiosity. Today is the day for outer disciples to come and spar with inner disciples. If you are interested, you can also go over and occupy a ring to challenge. Song Changyan explained with a smile. Ding. Random tasks are released. Please become the champion and defeat 100 opponents of the same level. If the task is successful, 500 points will be awarded. If the task fails, 500 points will be deducted. You can refuse. At this time, the system released a random task again. Now my points have accumulated to 4,410 points. If I get these 500 points, it will be close to 5,000. When I accumulate 9,000, I will make another breakthrough in strength. Thinking of this, Yifeng walked directly to the martial arts training ground. Hey, who is that person? He is not wearing the sect robe of our Xingji sect. He actually went up to a stage. Is he ready to challenge? Could it be that someone from another sect came to provoke him? As Yifeng walked onto an empty stage, many inner and outer disciples began to discuss in a low voice after seeing him. I, Yifeng, am at the peak of the 9th level of Qidong realm, and the direct disciple of Master Luo Qianxue. I want to defend the stage here today, so please take care of me, brothers and sisters. Yifeng stood on the stage, looking at the thousands of inner and outer disciples below, and loudly explained his identity and intentions. He is the direct disciple of the saint? What a lucky guy. I have heard that the saint went out to establish a sect on her own, but I don't know how he was chosen by the saint. If I can become the direct disciple of the saint, I would be willing to do it even if it shortens my lifespan by several decades. After learning of Yifeng's identity, many male disciples showed envy and jealousy. After all, Luo Qianxue is not only the saint of the sect, but also the cold goddess in the hearts of many male disciples. Chapter 18. Come on, all of you. I'll do it. Soon an inner sect disciple jumped onto the stage, looking at Yifeng opposite, his eyes full of fighting spirit. It's Meng Yang. It's said that this guy has extremely terrifying comprehension. In less than 3 years after joining the sect, his cultivation has broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the Qidong realm. Yes, I heard that he came up to practice the middle-grade earth-level skills, and even the martial arts he practiced were of the lower grade of the earth level. I really don't know how he comprehended it. It's hard for me to comprehend the upper-grade human-level skills now. There's a good show to watch. I want to see how this guy named Yifeng can become the direct disciple of the saint. At this time, the ring was instantly full of people. Seeing Meng Yang going up, they all whispered. It seems that you are quite famous in the sect. Hearing the discussions of the people nearby and looking at Meng Yang opposite, Yifeng was also a little surprised. It's okay. I have been practicing to the peak of the 9th level of Qidong realm for less than 3 years. I wonder how long it took Brother Yifeng. Meng Yang was not in a hurry to fight immediately at this time. He enjoyed the feeling of being the center of attention. Me? It took about 10 minutes to break through from the opening of the spiritual sea to the 9th peak of the spiritual sea realm, and then it took more than 20 minutes to break through from the 9th peak of the spiritual sea realm to the 9th peak of the Qi dynamic realm. Yifeng thought about it and gave a more accurate time. It should have taken about 30 minutes in total. Silence. At this time, even though the martial arts training ground gathered thousands of inner and outer disciples, it was quiet for a full 10 seconds after Yifeng's voice fell. Ha ha ha, I'm laughing to death. Is this guy dreaming? Even Brother Meng Yang took nearly 3 years, and he finished it in 30 minutes? 30 minutes, I have diarrhea, and it takes me 30 minutes to go to the toilet. What's the matter? We are all human beings. In the time it takes me to go to the toilet, you can break through to the 9th peak of the Qidong realm. Are you kidding me? Should I say it or not, Brother Yifeng is bragging a little too much. Arrogant and conceited, I really don't know why the saint girl would accept him as her personal disciple with such a character. After everyone was shocked, they began to mock him. It was really that Yifeng was bragging too much and it was impossible for people to believe it. Great! Brother Yifeng, if that's the case, I'm afraid that countless demon-level geniuses in Shantian continent will be trampled under your feet. No more nonsense, let's fight. For someone like Yi Feng, who is arrogant and talks nonsense, Meng Yang is no longer in the mood to continue chatting with him. Water cloud step, lower grade earth level body movement. Seeing Meng Yang use a mysterious body movement to quickly rush towards Yi Feng, the sharp-eyed people below exclaimed instantly. Fire Dragon Fist. Seeing Meng Yang's graceful body movement quickly attacking him, Yi Feng mobilized the huge spiritual power in the vast ocean of spiritual sea in his body and gathered it on his right fist. Without any fancy moves, he punched out suddenly. Boom! A huge amount of fire attribute spiritual power rushed out of Yi Feng's body. As Yi Feng punched out, a dozens of meters long fire dragon instantly condensed and formed, and it rushed directly towards Meng Yang with a terrifying might. What the hell is this? Meng Yang on the opposite side was so shocked by the huge fire dragon that his eyes almost popped out. He didn't have time to think about it. The snow-white long sword appeared in his hand in an instant, and a sharp sword energy with fire spiritual power instantly slashed out. Boom! The 3-meter-long flaming sword energy collided with the huge fire dragon with a loud noise. The manic spiritual energy fluctuations instantly swept around. Dozens of rolling realm disciples released powerful spiritual power barriers, which blocked this wave of spiritual energy impact for many inner and outer disciples. Many Linghai realm disciples were already trembling with fear. The terrifying spiritual energy impact just now was not something they could resist at all. Crack! 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 At this time, a series of strange noises came from the ring. Everyone looked up and found that the flaming sword energy actually began to crack, and finally shattered in an instant. The huge fire dragon blasted towards Meng Yang again with undiminished power. Fire Dragon Fist. Fire Dragon Fist. Fire Dragon Fist. However, just when Meng Yang had no idea how to resist the fire dragon that contained the terrifying spiritual energy, Yi Feng on the opposite side attacked again. 3 fire dragons tens of meters long appeared again, with overwhelming power, directly blocking all the space Meng Yang could hide in the ring. Damn! Where on earth did this guy come from? How much spiritual energy does his spiritual sea contain? Seeing this scene, Meng Yang cursed inwardly and jumped off the ring with reluctance, but his heart could not calm down for a long time. It is no exaggeration to say that the spiritual power consumed by the opponent's fire dragon is more than 10 times that of his own. As a result, the opponent actually shot out 3 fire dragons. How much spiritual energy does this require? Is this the spiritual energy that a human can possess? Boom! 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 As Meng Yang jumped off the ring, 4 fire dragons condensed by huge fire spiritual power all bombarded the ring, and a huge boom was heard. Smoke and dust rose. As a breeze blew, everyone was horrified to find that most of the ring had disappeared. Cool. Is this the feeling of fighting? Come on, 100 people come together, I can still punch 100 times. Yi Feng glanced at the thousands of inner and outer disciples under the ring with boundless domineering power, and shouted loudly. There was no way, his mood at this time was completely ignited. This is the hot-blooded fantasy world. Although it is fun to lose money, you can never enjoy the thrill of this kind of battle. All disciples retreat immediately and make way for the battlefield. All inner and outer disciples, at the peak of the 9th level of Qidong realm, come together. At this moment, Song Chongyan suddenly flew into the air and shouted loudly to thousands of disciples. Only 3 minutes, a huge area was cleared in the martial arts training ground, and more than 200 peak 9th level disciples of the Qidong realm gathered together. Even though Yi Feng was the only one on the opposite side, everyone's face was extremely solemn at this time. Crazy, this Yi Feng is going to become famous today. No wonder he was accepted as a personal disciple by the saint girl, it's simply terrifying. How big is the spiritual sea he opened up, how much spiritual power is still in his body. It's so terrifying, one person fighting more than 200 opponents of the same realm. If he wins this battle, once he grows up, he will definitely have a place on the hidden dragon list. The many disciples watching from a distance also held their breath at this time. The next battle is definitely an unforgettable battle. All disciples listened to the order, release spiritual power to condense a spiritual power barrier. Unexpectedly, Song Chongyan gave an order to more than 200 disciples at this time. In this case, even if I have enough spiritual energy in my body, it will be difficult to break the opponent's terrifying spiritual power barrier with human-level top-grade martial arts. Thinking of this, Yifeng checked his remaining 4,410 points of prodigal points and said silently in his heart, "System, draw Earth-level top-grade martial arts." Chapter 19. If you are not young and arrogant, you are not worthy of being a man. I will ask who else is there. Ding. Consume 700 prodigal points. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Earth-level top-grade martial arts, Nine-Ray Thunder Lotus. Keep drawing martial arts that do not require thunder spiritual power. Ding. Consume 900 spendthrift points. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Earth-level top-grade martial arts, Water Dragon Song. Continue, another one, no water spirit power martial arts. Ding. Consume 700 spendthrift points. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Earth-level top-grade martial arts, Wind Rolling Crazy Sand. As the system's voice sounded, Yifeng looked at the powerful spirit barrier formed by several kinds of spirit power on the opposite side again, his eyes full of infinite fighting spirit. Nine-Ray Thunder Lotus. Without any extra nonsense, Yifeng made a move directly, and the huge thunder spirit power vented from his body, and quickly condensed into a huge thunder lotus flashing with lightning in the air. Thunder spirit power. He actually has thunder spirit roots. What level of martial arts is this terrifying thunder lotus? Before everyone's shock ended, as a dragon roar resounded through the world, a tens of meters long, lifelike water dragon also appeared in the air. Water spiritual power. Where on earth did this monster come from? He actually possesses 3 spiritual roots. What level of martial arts is this? The residual power he exudes alone is hard for me to resist. What's going on? The wind, is it blowing? As a hurricane more than 10 meters high appeared again, it swept towards the spiritual power barrier formed by more than 200 people on the opposite side, and the water dragon and thunder lotus in the air also slammed into it fiercely. Boom! 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 When 3 powerful martial arts were frantically attacking the spiritual barrier, Yifeng continued to use 3 martial arts. Water dragons, thunder lotuses, and hurricanes appeared like bamboo shoots, bombarding the spiritual barrier on the opposite side with terrifying power. Crazy! Stupid! Stunned! The thousands of inner and outer disciples watching from a distance were all dumbfounded. The spiritual power contained in those terrifying martial arts was far beyond their cognition. 4 spiritual roots. And the 3 different attribute martial arts he used at the end definitely reached the earth level. The spiritual power he possessed reached a terrifying level that no one could guess. At this moment, they looked at Yifeng, who was dominating the world in the distance, again, and felt that the other party's figure was getting bigger and bigger in their hearts. That would be a mountain they could never cross. Puff. As time passed, some disciples in the spiritual barrier spurted out blood because they had exhausted their spiritual energy, and retreated with a listless look. The second one. The third one. Even though the terrifying martial arts were disappearing one after another, the spiritual barrier formed by more than 200 disciples at the peak of the 9th level of the Qidong realm had already begun to show cracks. At this moment, even Song Chongyan, who was standing high in the sky and watching all this, was already speechless with shock. Even though Yifeng was Luo Qianshue's direct disciple, Yifeng was too arrogant before. His original intention was to dampen the opponent's spirit, but who would have thought that it would become the current situation? He never dreamed that the spiritual energy in Yifeng's body was so terrifying, and he even comprehended 3 Earth-level top-grade martial arts. A genius on the hidden dragon list. A top 10 existence. This is Song Chongyan's evaluation of Yifeng at this time. As long as Yifeng can grow up smoothly, he will definitely be on the hidden dragon list in the future, and he will definitely be able to squeeze into the top 10. Peng. Not long after, as the spiritual power barrier was completely shattered, the remaining dozens of disciples all collapsed to the ground, pale and extremely weak. You are not reckless when you are young. I just want to ask who else. Yifeng laughed wildly at the sky, and the remaining spiritual power in his body burst out with a bang. Thunder Lotus, Water Dragon, and Hurricane surrounded him, showing his invincible posture and domineering. He actually has spare energy. Everyone who saw this scene had only this thought in their hearts at this time. Become famous in one battle. A peerless evildoer. Yifeng's name and invincible posture were deeply imprinted in the hearts of all inner and outer disciples at this moment. Inside the sect's main hall. 3 men and 2 women, 5 young people gathered here, all curious about why the sect master suddenly summoned them here. Today, I summoned you 5 here to inform you of something. You will soon have a new junior brother. But his current realm is only the peak of the 9th level of the Qidong realm, and you will need to take care of him in the future. Luo Wuming looked at the 5 people below and said with a smile. Core disciples, sect foundation. These 5 people are all demonic geniuses on the hidden dragon list. When they grow up in the future, they will also be the most deterrent force of Xingji sect. One more junior brother? After hearing this, the 5 people looked at each other, and everyone showed a touch of surprise in their eyes. What is this place? Xingji sect, the top sect in Xiantian continent. To become a core disciple of the sect, talent, understanding, spiritual roots, etc., must all be top-notch. Master, can you tell us what is so special about this junior brother? The oldest Chen Haoyu asked with curiosity. Rich. Very rich. Very rich. However, after hearing Luo Wuming's answer, all 5 people were dumbfounded. Is this also a special feature? Apart from anything else, even those big casual cultivators, their personal wealth is not as good as the fur of Xingji sect, so how rich must the other party be to make the master give such an evaluation? Oh, right, he has another outstanding feature. Hearing this, the 5 people stretched their necks immediately. They felt something was wrong. What kind of outstanding feature was this? There must be a real outstanding feature. Spendthrift. Very spendthrift. Extremely spendthrift. Hearing this, the 5 people were completely dumbfounded. Is this also considered an extraordinary thing? At this time, the 5 people looked at Luo Wuming with confused eyes, as if to say, Sect Master, are you teasing us? You don't understand now. But after you have been in contact with him for a while, you will naturally understand. After he finishes his training in the Tiandao battlefield this time, you will follow him to the Xinghuan sect founded by the saint. Don't blame me for not reminding you. When you are free, you should have more eyesight. If your little junior brother drops something from his fingernails, it will be enough for you. Luo Wuming couldn't help laughing after he finished speaking. He felt that he was simply too smart. These 5 core disciples followed Yifeng and were still worried that they would not be able to take off again in the future. Thinking of this, Luo Wuming couldn't help but think of the dog that Yifeng raised. You are not even as good as a dog. If any of you get the Huangquan sword intention, won't you take off directly? Luo Wuming looked at the 5 confused people below and thought that there was no need to explain. Some things can only be understood after real experience. Let's go. I'll take you to meet this junior brother first. remember what I said, he is your god of wealth. In the future, be more discerning when getting along with him. At this time, Luo Wuming still did not forget to remind the 5 people again. Chapter 20 Junior Brother? Who the hell are you? For spiritual roots, Senior Brother Yi Feng is extremely terrifying. 3 Earth-level top-grade martial arts, Senior Brother Yi Feng's comprehension is terrifying. 1 person against more than 200 people, Senior Brother Yi Feng is simply sent by God to fight me. Others shout, even if I can't win, I have to fight. Senior Brother Yi Feng shouts, I must cheer. Walking on the road of the inner gate, listening to the discussions of many disciples around, Wu Tianjiao and Luo Wuming were dumbfounded. For some reason, they always felt like they missed something. Master, are you sure that the junior brother has no other outstanding features except being rich and prodigal? Chen Haoyu couldn't help asking again at this time. I don't know. I just know that he is rich and prodigal. It seems that he just did something extraordinary. Let's go over and take a look. Luo Wuming also became interested at this time. He was really curious. In just a short while, what did Yi Feng do that made the entire inner gate disciples talk about him? However, the 5 geniuses could not believe their ears when they heard Luo Wuming's words. Is this still their sect master? He didn't even know the other party's situation clearly, but he wanted to give the other party the status of a core disciple of the sect. After a moment, when several people came to the devastated martial arts training ground, they were all dumbfounded. I remember that today should be the day for inner and outer disciples to spar, right? But looking at this scene, has the style changed this month, and it has become a big fight between outer and inner disciples? A young woman in a red dress standing next to Chen Haoyu looked at everything in front of her and said in a daze, Master. At this time, Song Chongyan rushed over and shouted respectfully. Deacon Song, what happened here? Luo Wuming looked at the other party and asked curiously. Become famous in one battle. Invincible posture. Master, Yi Feng, who you brought back, fought against more than 200 disciples of the same realm on his own and won a great victory. When Song Chongyan said this, his expression was also very excited. Thinking back to Yi Feng's shouting that he was not young and arrogant, he had an impulse to be rampant once. After hearing what Song Chongyan said, the 5 prodigies and Luo Wuming couldn't believe their ears. 1 person fought against more than 200 disciples of the same realm, and he actually won, and won by a big margin? Soon, Song Chongyan told the details. At this moment, Luo Wuming suddenly thought of what Luo Qianxue had said to him before, that is, the spiritual sea opened up in Yi Feng's body was more than 20 times that of hers, which was equivalent to more than 400 times that of an ordinary cultivator. In this way, Yi Feng is equivalent to 400 cultivators of the same realm. Thinking of this, Luo Wuming couldn't help but take a breath. It was ridiculous that he didn't believe it. Even in the 2 days of the journey back, he didn't check the spiritual sea in Yi Feng's body. After hearing this, the 5 Tianjios on the side were also full of shock and disbelief. Can the spiritual energy in a person's body really reach such a terrifying level? Not only that. The 4 spiritual roots of wind, fire, water, and thunder have also comprehended 3 earth-level top-grade martial arts. With such talent and understanding, he is definitely a core disciple. Rich? Spendthrift? It's all a cover. The 5 Tianjios looked at Luo Wuming with a strange look at this time, wondering in their hearts when the sect master became so naughty, is it fun to tease them? Deacon Song, where is my junior brother? Anxious. Chen Haoyu was anxious at this time. He couldn't wait to see this terrifying junior brother. He has already returned to his residence, number 111 courtyard of the inner gate of the main peak. Song Chongyan heard Chen Haoyu's question and directly told Yi Feng the residence he had arranged for him. Master, let's go find our junior brother first. After Chen Haoyu said this to Luo Wuming, he led the other 4 people to run towards the inner gate residential courtyard area of the main peak where they were currently. Master, just now Chen Haoyu called Yifeng little junior brother. Are you going to accept him as the 6th core disciple of the sect? After the 5 Tianjiao left, Song Chongyan also looked at Luo Wuming and asked. Deacon Song, don't think about informing the 3 ancestors about Yifeng's situation. He is my daughter's direct disciple, and no one can snatch him away. Luo Wuming was a little panicked at this time. He only knew that Yifeng was rich and spent money, but he didn't know he was so powerful. I'm afraid that this news will soon be known by the 5 ancestors. Isn't this sending his precious daughter's direct disciple out? Haha. Song Chongyan smiled after hearing this and said, Master, even if I don't inform the 3rd ancestor, the news has already spread. Those guys may have gone to the back mountain. If the other 4 ancestors know, the 3rd ancestor will also know. It doesn't matter whether I inform him or not. It's troublesome. This is the first disciple my daughter has ever accepted. It depends on how he chooses. Luo Wuming didn't think about it anymore. The 5 ancestors were bound to come out of the mountain. The rest could only depend on what decision Yifeng would make in the end. Although Yifeng was definitely a member of Xingji sect, he still didn't want Yifeng to leave his daughter and worship one of the 5 ancestors as his master. Who are you? Yifeng, who had just laid down for a while, saw the 5 people who broke into the room. In particular, he found that these 5 people were staring at him with strange eyes, which made him look furious. Junior brother, I am your senior brother Chen Haoyu. Junior brother, I am your 2nd senior sister Xia Tian. Junior brother, I am your 3rd senior brother Zhao Tianming. Junior brother, I am your 4th senior brother Xing Fei. Junior brother, I am your 5th senior sister Du Tianyue. Hearing the 5 people introduce themselves, Yifeng was stunned. Isn't he the direct disciple of the master? How come he has these senior brothers and sisters after returning to the sect? Soon, when Chen Haoyu told Yifeng about the situation of the core disciples of the sect, Yifeng understood it. It can be said that the 2 identities do not affect each other. He is both the direct disciple of Luo Qianxue and the 6th core disciple of Xingji sect. Naturally, he has these 5 Tianjiao level senior brothers and sisters. System, as a junior brother, it's not too much to give some spirit stones to my senior brothers and sisters when we first meet. Yifeng wanted to rest for a few days, but the opportunity to squander money came to him, so he naturally would not let it go. System, my senior brothers and sisters are all geniuses of the Tianjiao level. It's not too much to give each of them 100,000 high-grade spirit stones as a token of appreciation when we first meet. Without waiting for the system to answer, Yifeng spoke again. Ding. The amount is within the range of squandering money. Okay, Yifeng also had a sudden idea, and wanted to try to mention a certain amount of spirit stones in a certain waste incident, and then see if the system would give a reminder. Now it seems that not only did the waste succeed this time, but he also discovered a new ability of the system.